movies and games and TV shows, the Cinemaniacs podcast. Welcome back to the Cinemaniacs podcast. I am once again joined by
Matthew.
And this is, of course, where we talk about movies, games, and TV shows. This is our third episode.
Trace, baby.
Wait, what'd you say?
Trace, baby.
Yeah, Trace, baby. Yeah. This is number 3. And, you know what they say? 3 is the magic number.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's a magic number. And we're going to make it magical.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nice time.
Today we've got, we don't have a whole lot of news today.
Yeah.
I think today's going to be more focused on what we've watched. But we can go ahead and jump right into it. Actually, before we do that, let's talk about the Oscars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the Oscars were last week. We watched them. We predicted them.
Yep.
If you listen to that, you know our thoughts and our predictions. We got a good amount right.
Yeah.
We did.
Honestly.
But the most important ones were director, best picture, best actress, best actor, best supporting, all that.
Yeah.
Well, we got almost all of those specifically right.
Yeah.
The Ki Hui Kwan won best supporting actor.
Supporting actor, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Great speech as well, like we
Yes.
predicted.
Yeah. A beautiful speech.
Yeah.
Michelle Yeoh won best actress.
Yes.
Brendan
Deservedly
Fraser.
so. Yeah.
Brendan Fraser won best actor.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Everything Everywhere won best picture.
Yep.
Amazing. Beautiful. Couldn't have been better.
Took home 7 Oscars total, I think.
Wow.
On the night.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
As opposed to All Quiet on the Western Front,
Yeah.
who took home...
4. I think it was 4,
It
right?
took home 4.
Yeah, I think 4 was All Quiet on the Western Front, and they were the second most behind Everything Everywhere.
It felt like they took home more, almost.
It did for at the beginning, but no, I think it was only 4. And then a lot of the other films got like 1 or 2 in there.
Wow.
But yeah, those were the main 2. Everything Everywhere got 7, and then All Quiet got 4.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
But the only one that we had an issue with, I think, was Best Supporting Actress.
Yes, which went to Jamie Lee Curtis.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we were questioning why she was even nominated in the last episode anyway. Still are.
Yeah.
Still am. But it was wild to see her win in a category that I thought was very stacked, Yeah. It was a very stacked category. Everyone but her, basically.
It really didn't make any sense for her to be up there. I mean, she's a great actress.
Yeah.
She deserves to be nominated, but not for that role,
Yeah.
I think.
It was more of a silly role,
Yeah. It definitely felt more like her just having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
But no, the Oscars were one of the best Oscars I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I haven't paid too much attention to the Oscars, but from the ones that I have seen, this one was so good.
This one was good, I think.
Yeah. They made the most sense, I think, in terms of any Oscars that I've
They
ever
got
been
a lot of them right. I will say that. They got a lot of them right,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. But that was last week. So this week we've got some news. Unfortunately, we're going to start it off with a bit of sad news.
Yeah.
Lance Reddick, who played Sharon in the John Wick franchise, has sadly passed away.
Yeah.
Unironically, one of my favorite characters in that franchise.
Yeah. Honestly, probably my favorite behind Wick, honestly.
Yeah. Great actor.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know if you've seen him on the Eric Andre show.
No, I
but he
haven't.
has a hilarious bit where he goes, it's this funny, he stands up and he slams his fist on the desk and he goes, "You need a new desk." And he walks out from behind the curtain, and he comes out from behind the curtain and he's dressed in like slave slave clothing, like awful like chain around the neck
Yeah.
and stuff. And he's like, I wish I were LeVar Burton. I wish I were LeVar Burton. He really wanted that slave role, but he never got it. But no, rest in peace, Lance
Yeah,
Reddick.
rest in peace for sure, man.
Great actor. Um, Moving on to some more positive news.
Yeah. For sure.
We have James Gunn. So James Gunn is confirmed directing the Superman legacy film.
Yep, for sure.
Yep, we knew he was writing it, but now it's confirmed that he's directing it as well. I am very interested in this because so far all of James Gunn's directing feats have been more comedic, raunchy, with heart and family.
Yeah, for sure.
But
so it's definitely a challenge for him to take on the Superman kind of a story and stuff, you know,
right.
Something that's more serious, traditionally at least. And I'm sure I think that he is going to take it serious as well.
Yeah.
I think that will probably be his approach. So it will be very good to see James Gunn, like, you know, in like a non-raunchy comedy sort of way. I think that, you know, there probably will be comedy. It's not going to be
right.
like devoid of life and
Oh,
joy,
yeah.
I hope. But it's going to have the James Gunn kind of touch of comedy, I imagine, but like on a lighter scale, on a way lighter scale, you know.
I'm very excited because Superman is a character that I'm not the biggest fan of.
Yeah.
But I hear people all the time about how he's one of the most interesting characters in comics and in fiction. And I would really like to see that. I want to see him be
on
interesting.
Screen, yeah.
Yeah, on screen.
Sure.
And I think James Gunn definitely has the ability to make him interesting.
Yeah, I definitely think I think visually wise, this movie is going to look amazing probably because all of James Gunn's properties so far that I've seen, being the Suicide Squad and the two Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Even the third one.
Yeah,
based on the trailer.
Yeah, and the third one in the trailer alone, we know the third one's going to look amazing, but I think we can expect some really good visuals and stuff from this movie. I'm definitely interested to see exactly who's going to be like the villain and everything, and like the plot details and everything like that once they get revealed and stuff. That's going to be an interesting thing.
Dude, Brainiac
Brainiac.
Brainiac as the villain
That'd be awesome.
That would be
I love
sweet.
some Brainiac. For sure.
Moving on, we got a little bit more DC news. Is Ben Affleck has said that he does not want to direct at DC. So he came out, he was in an interview, and he said, I have nothing against James Gunn. Nice guy. Sure, he's going to do a great job. I just wouldn't go in and direct in the way they're doing it. So it seems like he has clearly a lot of respect for James Gunn and what he's doing. It's just obviously doesn't fit with what he would want to do.
Yeah. I think I don't know, based off his experience with the superhero business in general, I wouldn't be surprised to see him just take a step back from that whole game and in general, because especially off his experience with the 2016 Justice League movie.
Yeah.
He said literally that it was the worst experience he had in like film business, and it's a business filled with bad experiences. So that should tell you like just how bad that experience was, because, you know, especially since, you know, it's Ben Affleck, he's been around, you know, he's not like super old, but he's been around in a lot of films and stuff. So yeah, I think that's more so him. It's not him being like disrespectful towards Gunn, I don't think at all.
Right, at all.
Yeah.
It's such a shame though, because he's such a good actor.
He is a good actor.
I really would love to see him come back as Daredevil in like Secret Wars.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think we're gonna get that because of
I don't think so either.
His just experience.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really unfortunate. But
it's unfortunate.
We have the Willow show from Disney Plus that nobody watched.
Yeah.
Not surprisingly, got canceled. So it's not coming back. I literally don't know a single person that sat down and was like, yeah, I'm going to watch that.
I watched the Willow show.
No way. Did you really?
Yeah, I did. My mom was a huge fan of the original movie when she was a kid and stuff. And so we watched the show when it came out. It was awful. It was definitely awful.
It did not look good.
I only like the some of the cast members in there. Tony Revolori.
Right.
I was kind of sticking it out through them. Glad it's canceled. Honestly, this was just. It was the most basic of adventure series that I think you could conjure. Honestly.
Honestly, the only good part to me was the fact that Warwick Davis was back.
Yeah.
That was like the only.
Yeah, that was the main draw, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Willow's back and everything, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, good cancellation there.
Yeah, thank God.
I have some news. It's not really like news, but
yeah,
it's something.
All news. It's all news.
So apparently Tom Cruise saw The Flash.
Oh, I saw this.
And he loved it apparently, and he said in quote, it's the movie that the world needs right now.
That's a wild quote from Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
The man that Cameron is like, you're bringing back people to the theaters.
Yeah.
Or was it him or was it Spielberg?
Spielberg said, you might have saved cinema's ass. Cameron, I think, said the stuff about like you've been bringing people back to the theaters and stuff like that. But that's crazy from Tom Cruise to say that about The Flash.
That is
this
crazy.
movie is getting a lot of praise, man. A lot of praise.
Yeah.
Expectations are going to be high. I hope they know that.
It's high for me, and I didn't even want to see it, and now I do.
For sure. And then I got another one. Apparently, there's rumors that a Mephisto special for Disney Plus with Sacha Baron Cohen is rumored to be currently filming right now.
Yeah.
At this very moment.
Yeah.
And I by special, I took that as like a special, meaning like special announcement, kind of like the what did they call it specifically? The what they did
special presentation.
Yeah, special presentation, like what they did for Werewolf by Night. Yeah. I think that's what they could be doing here.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. I would love to get a Mephisto special. That'd be sick, man.
Speaking of special presentations,
okay,
did you hear that they want to do one with Steven Yeun as Sentry before Thunderbolts?
I did not hear that, but that would be amazing. I would love that. Bro, they need to do these special presentations. This is a really good way, I think, of telling stories and stuff in a faster way, you know?
It is.
In a quicker way. And I think people will really respond to it as well.
I think most of the shows so far could have been special presentations.
Yeah.
Ms. Marvel, I think Moon Knight would have also worked. I think Moon Knight's the one that worked the most as a show, but it definitely could have been a special presentation as well. She-Hulk, I don't know. She-Hulk could have been a special presentation, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Fit it into like 50 minutes.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I like, though, that, especially if Mephisto is the next special presentation, I like that they're like kind of going like with the more horror, supernatural kind of theme for the special presentations. I imagine if it's currently filming, that could be our Halloween thing, would be the Mephisto project. That could be like the Halloween MCU project that they drop, you know? I could definitely see that happening for sure.
Right. They also said that they were going to cut Kit Harington in Blade. They were going to cut his role down.
His role's going to be like limited. Now I heard that they've been doing a ton of rewrites on Blade and stuff like that as requests of Mahershala Ali, which is fine with me as long as the movie's good and everything, you know.
Right.
Sucks that we might get less Kit Harington, but even still, it's a Blade movie, you know. It's not really about. No one's going for the Black Knight, you know.
Right. Yeah. We have right here Quentin Tarantino.
Yes.
He announced this week that he announced what his final film is going to be called.
Yeah.
The Movie Critic.
The Movie Critic, yep.
I am curious as to if he will make himself the main character.
Okay, well, this is what I heard. So I heard that it's going to be set in 70s Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I heard that it's going to be a female lead. So not him. And obviously, it's going to be a movie critic, I imagine, the
Yeah.
main character. I also heard though that this could possibly not be coming out for a while because he still has a series I think that he wants to do before
Yeah.
that. So I think he's going to do a series and then he's going to do that film, which is probably going to be marketed as Tarantino's final film, The Movie Critic or whatever.
Okay.
I
All
think
right.
I think that's what's going to be happening.
Nice.
Yeah.
I also saw the Amy Pascal, who is the ex CEO of Sony Pictures. I'm pretty sure she's
Yeah.
no longer part of Sony Pictures as the CEO, but she still plays a part.
Yeah.
She says she played very coy when she was asked about Tom Holland being in Across the Spider-Verse or Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Hmm.
She said, I am not going to comment on anything around that, but I can tell you that Tom Holland does love these movies. So it's great that she's speaking for somebody else. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that he loves the movies,
Yeah.
but it's kind of obvious
He's
at
gonna,
this point.
yeah, I honestly think all three of them will probably end up being in either Across or Beyond,
Yeah.
most likely.
They're in one of them,
Yeah, for sure.
if not both, you know?
For sure. I feel like this is just a being the werewolf kind of
Yeah.
situation.
Not the werewolf.
Yeah.
Not the werewolf.
Yeah.
Did you have, I have one more piece of news. Did you have any more?
Yeah, I got some more. So Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh, they had a couple, I think two awards that they announced at the Oscars
Mm-hmm.
together. Apparently they have a new romance film coming out pretty soon, or that they're going to be shooting for pretty soon, called We Live in Time.
That's crazy.
The director is going to be John Crowley.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
That's crazy.
new film coming out
We
with them.
When we watched it, we were literally like, "Hey, they look good together. They
Yeah.
should get together."
I mean, I'm definitely gonna be watching a Andrew Garfield, Florence Pugh romance movie for
Yeah,
sure.
that sounds great.
This is a big one. This next one is Mia Goth, Andrew Garfield, and Oscar Isaac are all in talks to star in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein film. So Guillermo del
Ooh.
Toro obviously just won Best Animated Feature Film with
Yeah.
the Pinocchio movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's one of the only directors ever to win Best Picture. He won Best Picture, I think, in 2016 with Shape of the Water or The Shape of Water, something
Oh,
like
he
that.
did?
And then he also won Best Animated Feature Film with Pinocchio this year. One of the only directors to ever do that. He's doing a live action Frankenstein film.
Wow.
Obviously, Oscar Isaac and Andrew Garfield, they're going to be, one of them is going to be Dr. Frankenstein, the other
Yeah.
one's going to be the creature or the monster.
Who do you think is?
My prediction right now is Oscar Isaac is going to be the creature or
Yeah.
the monster, and Andrew Garfield is going to be Dr. Frankenstein. And then
I'm
Mia
willing to
Goth will be the love interest. I forget what her name is in the story, but it's the girl that Victor falls in love with. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Elizabeth.
yeah. I think Elizabeth. Yeah,
Yeah, Elizabeth, and she becomes Frankenstein's bride as well.
oh, okay, okay.
And that makes a lot of sense because Mia Goth is known for her more recent horror.
Yeah,
So to have her as the love interest and then the horror.
I'm super excited for this Frankenstein movie, honestly. With this and the Nosferatu movie coming out with Robert Eggers,
Yeah.
those are two like kind of classical monster films that I'm really excited for that they're coming out.
Right.
Really good cast and stuff.
Yeah.
Really excited for those two.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. Next piece of information I got is apparently Leonardo DiCaprio saw Scorsese's next film, Killers of the Flower Moon, and he called it a masterpiece.
Okay.
And the person that this came from said that Leo doesn't say that lightly, with being around in the business for so long and stuff,
Yeah.
being a part of a lot of high quality movies and stuff.
I would imagine.
So that's building some hype and anticipation for that next Scorsese film.
Yes, definitely.
Probably the some of the biggest news of the week is around the Gladiator sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Barry Keoghan obviously
Right.
being set to be cast as these antagonists, I think is what everyone's thinking of as of now, opposite of Paul Mescal.
Yeah, he's probably going to be, yeah.
And I also learned that apparently Paul Mescal is actually going to be, I don't know if this is 100% true, but apparently he's going to be Joaquin Phoenix's uh, descendant and not Russell Crowe's character
Oh,
Maximus. He's going to be Commodus. He's going to be a descendant of Joaquin Phoenix. So we're going to be following the descendant of the previous antagonist of the film.
okay.
And also Denzel Washington
I saw that.
has joined the cast of Gladiator 2 as well, which I think that just adds a lot more hype
Yeah,
to that movie as well.
definitely. It's Denzel.
It's gonna be a good movie, I'm sure. Can't wait for that one.
Yeah. Well, the last piece of news that I had has to do with The Last of Us. Um,
Okay.
The Last of Us, um, the creators, uh, they said that the season two, or they said that the second game, will extend past the second season. So second season might be the first half of the game, and then or the third season will be the second half of the game. And I've got a lot of theories on that, but I can't tell you them because they have some massive spoilers that you don't
Okay.
know about. Um, there's a lot of flashbacks in the second game
Hmm.
to adventures before the current story.
Yeah.
So, and there's enough that they could probably turn that into its own game. And so I have a theory that they will. There's a big thing that happens in the very beginning of the game, and
Yeah.
my theory is that they'll have flashbacks with like Ellie and Joel's adventures leading up to this moment,
Okay.
and then they'll do that moment and end it on that season because it's like it could be easily a big cliffhanger moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, it would piss everyone off if
Yeah.
they did it as a cliffhanger, but it would be great if they're going in that direction. But they said no way, it's more than one season. You have no, he says you have noted correctly that we will not say how many, but more than one is factually correct. So it's a long game.
Yeah.
The first game is like 15 hours.
Hmm.
The second game is like 50 hours. It's
Okay.
really long.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that's cool though that they're planning on spreading out the game and stuff. That they're not trying to, oh, since there's two games, we have to have two seasons. They're not trying to force anything and stuff
Yeah.
like that. They're willing to spread stuff out, let it like run its time and
Right.
stuff like that. Even though I don't know what happens in the second game, it's still nice to know that they're giving it its time and episode length and stuff like that to fully flesh out the story and the
Hmm.
characters and stuff like that.
I'm guessing that you have avoided even looking at anything that has to do with the show,
Yeah.
or because people in the comments are always
Oh
like,
yeah, almost every comment is like people from the games.
yeah,
I'm just assuming,
yeah,
that
stay away
that
from
almost every comment, even for the show, is mostly
it. They
people
are.
playing the games and like their opinion on what's happening and stuff.
Yeah, they are.
So I kind of withdraw from that and stuff like that.
It's a good idea.
Trying to wait for to fully experience it, as the show goes along and stuff. Don't want to get spoiled or anything.
Yeah. Well, with that news, we can go ahead and go into. We can talk about The Last of Us. Real
Yeah.
quick, I did want to say, third episode of Mandalorian came out this week.
Oh yeah.
But both of us we failed to watch it this
Yeah.
week. So we'll watch that this coming week, along with episode 4, and
Yeah.
we'll talk about them
Get 3
together.
and 4 in one episode for
Yeah.
sure.
But moving on, we can go ahead and talk about The Last of Us.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, as of this moment, with it being finished, I can confidently say that it is both the best video game adaptation of anything in media,
Yeah.
and it is on par with the game. It is just as good, if not like maybe like a couple specs lower than the game.
Yeah.
The game is, the game is incredible, and this show for me, it was. I honestly was like, by episode 3, I was like, yeah, it could probably become better. Honestly, it could become better.
Yeah.
Because I honestly by episode 3 I was enjoying it even more than I enjoyed the game.
Yeah.
But then there was a quality it kind of dropped just a tiny bit, and um, it dropped to only be like as good as the game, which is
Yeah.
still an amazing
Still
compliment.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you can't if you can't get better than the original source material,
Yeah.
having the compliment of being as good is just as good of a compliment. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
For me, I think episode 5, I think, which was like that was like the Henry and Sam episode
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I think that episode was like where after that it kind of started to hit a decline a little bit more, but not in like a bad, obviously like in a work like the show quality wise declined, but not in like a bad sense. Like it was never the show was never bad at any point, I don't think.
Yeah.
But episode 5 was like it's like peak where it was like literally like I was like, okay, this could be like one of the best shows, point blank period. And it's still, by the end of it, it is still one of my favorite shows and stuff. But I think that there was a little bit of a decline on the later part of the season. But I do think that they wrapped it up in the last episode pretty nicely. I think the episode could have been longer, the finale episode, but I still think that story wise and everything, it was really good. It was a really good way to finish the season and everything, and conclude everything that the season had led to and everything.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. It had its fair share of twists and everything, with Joel doing some crazy stuff.
It goes crazy.
But to be fair, it's crazy, but it's like you understand why he's doing it at the same time, even though he does go a little bit too off the rails, probably.
Did you catch when he's so obviously spoilers? Did you catch when he was going through the hospital and killing everyone when he got to the doctors and he shot the first doctor? Did you notice that the camera actually went back to that doctor that he shot and put the camera on that doctor?
I think I like slightly remember what you're talking about. Yeah, it like kind of, yeah.
Okay,
I vaguely remember it. Yeah,
that doctor. I'm just letting you know now. That doctor was no just background character.
Okay, so he was important or something. Okay.
Yeah, that's important. That honestly, that is like the biggest thing that could possibly happen in this entire franchise was him killing that doctor.
Okay, cool.
And you'll find out why, but it's a very I love that they subtly kind of foreshadowed for people like you who have not played the game.
Yeah.
They subtly foreshadowed that character will come back as an important piece of plot.
Yeah.
By going back just for a second,
Yeah. So to me, I think overall with this show, especially with what the finale did, I think my favorite thing about the show was the character of Joel probably was the best like overall thing about in the show. Not only Pedro's performance as him and stuff,
right,
but the writing and stuff and how they handled him. Obviously, especially in the last episode. I don't know. In the last episode, it really. I think a lot of his development, especially with him being absent in episode prior, in episode 8, he was absent basically the whole episode, but until the end, and he's I think at a little bit at the beginning, and then at the end, and then episode 9, he was in a lot of episode 9, and I think they used a lot of episode 9 to heavily develop his character and stuff like that, and a lot of like like screw the world kind of mentality, like of him like kind of choosing Ellie over the world and stuff like that, and her safety over everything else kind of deal, which I definitely appreciate in his writing and stuff. I think that was a really good culmination of where his character started at in the beginning of the season to where it came now and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I thought it was really good. And it obviously showed like the morale, like the gray morality and stuff of Joel as well in the episode. Right. Really, I think this episode probably had one of the best overall, like from start to finish, one of the best handlings of Joel, because it showed his morality and it showed like the whole like what his character was like culminating to, and like the climax of his like character in this season in particular and stuff like that. I thought that was all really well done and stuff. And then Pedro Pascal, obviously, the entire season, very, very well done job by him. I think the best overall, he gave the best performance, I would say, in the show.
Yeah, definitely.
In season 1, and he was great. He was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was really good. He's definitely probably the best thing about the show is Pedro as Joel. Or at least one of the best things.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of good things, more than just the main character or whatever is good, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good things, but that's definitely a big thing,
Right.
Pedro as Joel and stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, but the actress that plays Ellie's mom.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the actress that plays Ellie's mom is the girl who plays her in the game, right?
Yeah, Ashley Johnson.
And the guy wasn't the guy who played Joel in the game as well in the show too.
Yeah, he was James. He's David, his little side guy.
His little henchman or whatever.
his little goon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, the last episode is I think it's good, and I think it probably would have been better if like you binge watched from the first episode to the last episode, like you just like watched all the way through as one long story.
Yeah,
it might have been better, but it definitely felt short.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a thing I get as well. It was a little too short.
Yeah,
I definitely don't like when shows have the finale episodes like really short compared to the rest of the season or something like that.
Yeah, I hate that.
I always, I don't know, it just feels right to me when a finale episode's like the longest, or maybe not the longest, but at least one of the longest, of the season and stuff.
Right.
That's usually what I'm used to. But that's not a huge problem. I just think that it would have been better to have about 10 or so, 15 or so more minutes to flesh out some more things and stuff like that fully and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
To all those ideas and the writing and stuff like that could have been fleshed out more properly and stuff like that. The characters, all that.
Right. I agree. No, but I think overall, as a show, I think it's really good. It's one of the best HBO shows for sure.
Yeah.
As an adaptation, again, perfect. I mean,
absolutely,
as close as to perfect as you can get. I think the only thing that rivals it as of right now is like Sonic 2,
Yeah.
I think, of course, soon Mario will be the one that rivals it. And I also think Mario could overtake it.
Yeah, I do too. Even though Mario, surprisingly, Mario's going to be like, it's going to be like an hour and a half. Right?
Yeah, it's only going to be like an hour and a half.
It's going to be like an hour and a half, but it definitely has that potential to easily be like the best game adaptation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's also set in a, it's not really that much of a transition for Mario. It's going from animated game to like animated movie.
Yeah.
Compared to like animated game going to a live action movie or whatever.
Right.
Especially with the Sonic series. I mean, look what happened with the Sonic movies. They had to go with the whole redesign and everything. Mm-hmm. And, there was all that. Mario movie doesn't have to worry about that. They obviously have to worry about, being loyal to like the Super Mario lore and everything.
Yeah. Their thing was more voice cast.
Yeah, that's true. That's
truly and of course there's all the Chris Pratt haters.
Yeah.
But I mean, with all the new footage that we're getting from Mario, I like it even more. I even like Chris Pratt even more as Mario. I think he sounds really good as just as a movie Mario. You know.
I've always, I don't know, I never had a problem with him. I thought it was an okay.
Yeah.
I thought that there were probably other people that could have done it better for sure, but I think he was okay. Obviously the one that really stood out is Jack Black, I think, is like the one that really stands out the most. But Chris Pratt, he's an okay Mario, I think, and I think he'll probably do a pretty stand-up job.
Yeah, and the there's actually some new footage that released, and really quick you can see Bowser on a piano. So we're getting that Bowser musical with Jack Black.
That's gonna be nice.
That's amazing if that's true. Um, no, but Last of Us was really good. What would you say is your final score for Last of Us?
Final score for Last of Us, I think I would probably clock it in at like a 9 out of 10 probably
Yeah,
in terms of yeah out of 10 probably a 9 out of 10.
I also am thinking about a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, very good show, very nice. Probably will do maybe a binge watch of it soon, pretty soon. See like how that feels compared to like watching it week by week and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Now, next we went to go see Adam Driver versus Dinosaurs movie.
Yeah, 65.
65. I mean,
It was okay.
it was truly just okay. You know,
It was alright.
it really could have been more.
It really that's honestly the like exact like sentence I would use to describe the movie is like could have been more.
Could have been more.
There
Yeah.
was so much more it could have been, and that's not saying like, oh, this should be the starter movie of a franchise of
Yeah.
75 next or
Yes.
something
Yeah.
like
75.
or something like that. No, but they could have. I don't know. They could have. Usually, the thing is that's funny about this too is like now a lot of movies like they bite off more than they can chew now.
Hmm.
You know, they try to do too much in a movie. You know, or they have too long of a runtime for a movie that doesn't need it. You know,
Right.
and they're just trying to do way too much. 65 is a movie that has something there, but it doesn't trust itself enough to
Yeah.
me. It doesn't have a long enough runtime, or even with what you have of the runtime there, the hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes or whatever there, they don't do enough with it. You know, they're not bold enough, even though it's literally futuristic guy
Yeah.
comes to Earth with dinosaurs and
Right.
shoots dinosaurs and stuff, but they don't try more. You know, they don't try enough with the film.
Yeah. I really feel like it. It's the best way I thought of it was it's one of two very silly premise horror films that have come out in the past month. That 65 and Cocaine Bear. Like
Yeah,
two very silly premises um or silly premise
yeah,
and but a horror movie that is done, it's still done fun, it's still fun, you
yeah.
know. And I think of the two, Cocaine Bear really like lived up to the hype.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. Even I'm pretty sure they had similar runtimes too. I think they both were around an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And that's what's funny to me though. Is Cocaine Bear feels so much longer than
It did.
65 does. You know,
Yeah.
and maybe that's because of the people. I know a lot of people. The main complaint about Cocaine Bear is that like they focus too much on the humans in the beginning and stuff.
Hmm.
They dedicate like a good like 20, 25, half an hour maybe to the humans and stuff, to their
Yeah.
characters kind of and their lives. 65 was kind of like right off the bat, like it was like, okay bro, you got like 10 minutes with his character, and then we're going right to the
Yeah.
place and everything. It was very fast moving. I think that I don't know, I think if they took their time with the story more and like trusted the writers more, maybe gave them like an extra 20 minutes in there or something more, more scenes fleshing out characters and stuff, specifically the Adam Driver in a situation with his daughter and stuff back
Hmm.
on the other planet. I think if that's something that's spread out throughout the course of the film and developed better and stuff, and I think that you have a much better result too, especially with like there are good things in the film, like the horror. There are some good jump scare moments. That's what like the biggest
Yeah.
horror factor I think the movie has
Right.
is the jump scares.
Yeah.
Probably it has some really good jump scares in there, um, and there is some good eeriness, thriller kind
Hmm.
of kind of vibe that you get from the movie too. But the visuals are really good. That's one thing that's crazy about
Great.
the movie is that
Yeah, they're
it
great
looks
visuals.
great. It looks really good. the dinosaurs, even though they're not accurate, but you're not here for accuracy. They look good, they look threatening.
Yeah.
And the environment and stuff looks threatening and stuff like that, and the whole meteors and stuff coming through the air,
Right.
asteroids, that all looks really well done. The visuals in general, they all look great, really.
Yeah.
And the camera work's not even that bad either. So I didn't really notice anything that stuck out, but there wasn't anything bad. There were some creative things from what I remember of the film and stuff like that they did with the camera.
Right. That's probably the most positive thing that I can say about the movie is it's the visuals and the dinosaurs. I mean, they were on Earth, but
Yeah.
it felt like an alien world.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best thing about the movie is the fact that it does a great job making a relatable or a familiar place feeling unfamiliar.
Yeah.
That's literally the best
And
way I can put
I
it.
think that's definitely the vibe they were going for, because even though, like, we can recognize, well, that's Earth, because we know that the dinosaurs were once on Earth and stuff. But obviously Earth is like an alien planet to Adam Driver's character and
Right.
stuff. And I think that's what's interesting is that, like you described, they make Earth seem like an alien planet, and it is an alien planet to him, and they make it feel that way for the audience. And that's something that was really well done in the film.
I think what really hurts it though is it of course follows the trope of a gruff older man, small little girl.
Yeah.
It follows
Surrogate dad kind of situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It follows the Last of Us.
Seems like that's a trend recently and stuff.
Yeah, it seems like that's a little bit of a trend in specifically with Pedro Pascal, but
Yeah.
I mean with as a soldier or a killer
Yeah.
with a baby or a little child.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's that story is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's literally it's a Mandalorian, Last of Us, Logan.
Yeah.
I mean, God of War.
Yeah,
It's everywhere.
It's not bad here in 65. It's not a bad story between him and
Yeah.
and the girl that what's the girl that was like frozen and stuff on the
Yeah.
ship and stuff. It's not
Koa
yeah,
or whatever her
it's
name
not
is.
it's not horrible. It's generic,
That's
It's
what I'd
generic,
say.
but it's not bad,
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt the film. But it doesn't help it either, It doesn't really do much for the film either. That's
Yeah.
like the counterpoint for it, I guess.
That is what I would say is that it is probably the most basic version of that story that I've seen.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more basic, but that
Yeah,
one
I'm sure whatever started it probably was
Yeah.
yeah,
definitely. But so far, this is probably the most basic
cookie
take on that
cutter
story.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah. But no, 65 was overall fun,
Yeah, it was fun.
but disappointing.
It was yeah, that's exactly how I would describe it. It was fun but disappointing for
Yeah.
sure.
I think I landed around a 4.5, 5 out of 10,
Yeah.
something like
I
that.
think I'd give it a 5, I think.
Yeah. Because it was like, it wasn't bad. It just,
No.
I wanted more
Yeah.
from it.
It was an all right experience, but yeah, exactly what you said. I was hoping for a little bit more.
Yeah. Now, this week, what did we watch this week? What did you watch this week?
Well, this week, I guess I can start off with the Kill Bill duology that I watched for the first time. This was my introduction to the famous Quentin Tarantino action films starring Uma Thurman, Kill Bill. The plot being exactly what the title says, Kill Bill. That is the main goal of the film, and it's a revenge story. Possibly one of the best revenge stories put to film, maybe, honestly. I think that the action is not only creative and fun with the katanas and the hand-to-hand stuff. It's over the top. It's definitely like almost anime, like superhero kind of like.
Oh.
But the film never takes its action at least that serious to the point where it's like trying to be realistic or anything.
Yeah.
The story's definitely taking itself serious and stuff. With it being a revenge story, there's definitely some like horrific things happen to the bride, as the protagonist is named for most of the films, I should say. And I think that Tarantino does a lot of creative stuff here. I think he's at his most. These two films in particular, I think he was having the most fun with in his entire filmography, because of the not only the very vibrant use of colors, the very extravagant gore. The gore is literally at an all-time high for him and Kill Bill for sure. I've seen the next closest one, which would be probably to Django, and the gore in that movie, it's pretty bad, but Kill Bill, it's like nothing compared to Kill Bill, honestly. And the first one, the Volume 1 in particular, has a ending fight sequence that it's phenomenal. It will knock your socks off completely. And the music's iconic. It has a really iconic soundtrack, really iconic edits and stuff. Like I said, the edits are kind of like the action. Sometimes they can be over the top,
right?
Kind of funny,
Yeah.
But that's what they're going for. They're not trying to be overly serious with it. And there's a lot of creative freedom and stuff with the film too. Like they switch in and out of black and white and stuff sometimes, stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I watched two of the movies I watched back to back were the first two Hunger Games films. Okay. The first one is significantly worse than the second one. The second one is genuinely good. It's genuinely really good. It's not amazing, but it's on as from what I've seen so far, it's the best in the series. Even critically wise, it's the best in the series.
Okay.
It's the only one higher than a 70% or something like that.
Damn.
Yeah. It's got a 90 something, so it's yeah.
A 90, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty good. The first one was shot horribly. The editing is terrible. When people are fighting, I could barely tell what was going on.
Yeah.
The story is the story is fine, but the acting feels so, I don't know. It just felt like showing up for a paycheck, you know?
My problem with the first one is how they turned it into like Romeo and Juliet at the very end and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't exactly like that. Like I was like, oh, you eat the berries, I'll eat the berries. We'll eat them together.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I didn't really vibe with all that. That didn't jive with me.
Well, that's the good thing about the second one is... Are you talking about Katniss and Peeta, basically? Yeah. Okay. In the second one, we find out that was an act.
Yeah.
So it wasn't for them. It was actually for the cameras to be like, oh... Well, we're gonna kill ourselves because we love each other so much.
The second one's actually... So you've seen the second one. The second one's actually good because it has like a twist kind of on the games and stuff like that in general. And at the end especially, there's a big twist.
Yeah. The second one, though, was really good. We are introduced to new characters who are likable. At first, you feel like they're not going to be, but they end up being very likable.
Yeah.
The action and the way it's filmed is so much better. The visuals in general are better. There's a scene. They're like introduction scene in the first film when they come in. They're like riding on horses and they're the fire dress and stuff. Yeah. Awful in the first film. It's seriously like the most like PNG file walking on a green screen that I've ever seen. It looked like it looked like a fan film almost, like a bad one. Because there's good fan films.
There's some 20-year-old woman out there that'll be deeply offended by what you just said.
I honestly,
that's like an iconic moment for them.
Yeah, it's awfully shot. It's terrible. But in the second movie. First of all, the second movie to me is the first movie, just better in every way. It honestly isn't that much different it has a twist at the end.
Yeah.
It's got certain aspects that are different, but all in all, it's kind of the same movie.
Yeah.
It's Katniss being she didn't get chosen the first time, but it's Katniss being put into the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Peeta is put into the Hunger Games with her. Gale, Liam Hemsworth's character, is like, you don't love me. You don't love me. You're like Peter.
I hate his character.
He's terrible. He's awful. I know that I've heard that there's reason to hate him later, but even now, I don't like him. Even when he's just like the boyfriend.
Dude, I don't remember this series. It was like a big thing when it was like still going on, but I don't remember what happens in it after the first two movies for some reason.
Yeah, well, the second one is definitely much better. Definitely an improvement. The acting, they actually feel like they wanted to be there.
Yeah.
All in all, just a better movie in general. I would give, like, in comparison, I would give the first movie like a 4.
Yeah.
Maybe like a 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the second one is definitely like an 8 or an 8.5.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Would you say you're a Hunger Games fan now?
No. Like
8.5 though for the sequel. I mean, hey,
it was good.
What if the third one? What if you give an 8 to the third one or something? What if?
Hey,
does that make you a fan?
Okay, if the third and the fourth one, since they're, I mean, technically it's the third one since they're just split into 2.
Split into 2 parts, yeah.
But if the next 2 movies are really good and if they're better than the first film, I can say I'm a fan of the series.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be honest, I have no connection to the characters. I enjoyed the second movie, but if Katniss died in the next one, I really wouldn't care.
So you don't have like a particular favorite or anything?
No, I really don't.
Okay.
I don't give a care about any of these characters. I'm not gonna lie. But also, it also has to do with the fact that I'm just not the biggest fan of this kind of movie where it's like teenage actors and characters.
Where it's Fortnite.
That's like unironically the best description of it that ever.
Oh my
Fortnite
God.
the movie. That's what it is. I didn't even think about it like that. That might be why I don't like it.
I'm pretty sure Hunger Games started the whole battle royale trend and stuff.
It might have, because there's
I think they started it off.
Yeah, because there's like Minecraft survival games, but it's literally based on Hunger Games because you start on pedestals and there's a time where you run to the center.
Yeah, the cornucopia or whatever they call it. Yeah.
To be fair though, Minecraft survival games is
way better than Hunger Games.
It's also better than Fortnite.
Yeah, it's way better than Fortnite, yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's true.
Fortnite the movie. I never even thought about it like that. No, but that
was good.
That's the Hunger Games for me.
That's good. My next movie I watched is called Her.
Bro.
With Joaquin Phoenix as the main character, also starring Amy Adams. Scarlett Johansson plays a voice. Chris Pratt, I believe, is in the movie as well. Yep. I think he shows up there a couple times. Olivia Wilde, I believe, is in the movie as well. But it's mainly Joaquin Phoenix. And surprisingly, Scarlett Johansson doing a pretty good job voice acting wise in this film. I was actually kind of surprised by how well the voice acting was done by her in Her.
In Her,
yeah. But it's obviously a sad movie. It has like a whole sad premise around it, and Joaquin Phoenix's character Theodore is sad, relatably sad, yes. Very relatably sad. It also has Rooney Mara in the film as well. She plays his girlfriend, or his wife, his ex-wife.
Oh, I did not know that.
They're actually in a bunch of films together. Rooney Mara is also in Woman Talking.
Yes, I knew that. Yeah.
So Rooney Mara is also in it. She's pretty good. But yeah, I think that it's a sad film. The thing that I like about it though is like it's like a sad but like beautiful film as well. Like, so the story's beautiful, I think, in terms of like how well it's handled and stuff like that, and how nice it's handled. But I more so mean beautiful in terms of quite literally how it looks. Like it's very pleasant looking. It's set in a near future. So I was thinking like a 2040, 2050 kind of vibe or something like that. And it's and it's nice. Like it has that kind of like modern but also futuristic, like skylines and buildings and stuff,
Right.
with also really nice color filters and stuff all over the camera. I think the production and stuff, like the sets and stuff where they're going and stuff, the settings, they're all really well done, really well made. There's a good amount of symmetry and stuff like that in the camera. The camera movements in general are pretty well done, I thought. The cinematography as a whole stands out in the film, I think. Yeah. And yeah, it's definitely a prevalent thing along with the sadder story and stuff, along with the music as well. The music's really good in the film as well. Yeah. Very somber kind of feeling music that really puts you in the tone of the movie, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's definitely I watched it at probably the worst time to ever watch it.
Yeah.
But unironically, probably the best time to watch it.
Yeah.
It was like a time of like heartbreak and like wishing I was in a relationship or something where I was like just out of one or something.
Yeah.
And this movie will, if you literally like, if there is a relationship in your life that has either just ended or like didn't go anywhere, if you watch this movie at like 12 a.m., you'll wish you were dead, probably. Yeah, it's
definitely depressing.
It's a depressing film.
For sure, man.
Especially if you were in middle school. And because that's when I like watch it, like, dude, he's literally me. It's literally me. No, but her is really good. And I think when it first came out, I was young. I was little. Yeah. And I didn't watch it when I was little. But like my parents, I believe like they didn't really care for it. Mm-hmm. But it's so weird because when I watch it, I'm like, it's such a good, like it's like a 9, 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
It really is.
I think I landed at a 9 out of 10 for it. It's a really well made movie. Story's just really well put together.
Yeah.
Characters are really great. Ending's really nice. Music's good. Cinematography's great. Yeah. You know, Amy Adams is cool. She's really good in it.
Yeah, she's got a nice smaller role.
Yeah, it's really nice, and her relationship with Joaquin Phoenix on screen and stuff was really cool in the movie and stuff. I liked it. It was a really good movie.
Yeah, I love her. It's a really good movie.
For sure.
My next movie I watched Reservoir Dogs. Yeah, it was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't as memorable as I thought it was gonna be.
Okay.
It didn't. It was my first Tarantino film. Ironically, it's also his first Tarantino film. But
really, it's your first Tarantino movie?
I have not. I don't think I've seen a Tarantino film before, and
that's interesting.
I thought obviously best place to start probably is
the first movie.
His first movie, and it's really. I mean, it's good, but I don't think it. I think the most memorable parts to me are probably the most memorable parts to everybody else. You know, maybe like the ending, the opening scene.
Yeah.
The opening montage where they're walking.
Yeah.
Great opening. But I mean, it was, other than that though, it was really good. I mean, it was an interesting take on kind of a mystery, not whodunit, but kind of a whodunit.
Yeah.
And you kind of learn who the mystery character is, like who they're trying to figure out who it is. You learn like halfway through the movie. And then after that, it becomes about that character. Yeah. And I really like that.
That's a really good point and stuff. When it takes over and stuff like that, and it comes about that character and stuff that it, you know, that twist was centered around and stuff. I like how the movie has that. Tarantino does it in a lot of his films, but the intersecting like plot threads and stuff like that, those are all really, really well done, I thought, and stuff like that. Couple of like red herrings and stuff in the film, and like misdirections and stuff like that about certain characters and scenes that are kind of, and those are obviously purposeful. But that's the charm of this movie in particular, I thought, is that it is like a whodunit basically. It's like a crime whodunit, honestly, but it's not like a whodunit in the traditional sense, like oh God, who stabbed him in the back? no, it's
who's the killer?
Yeah, it's more so like a traditional heist whodunit, I would say, like that. Oh, who's trying to, who's who's playing for the other team, who's doing what,
Yeah.
who's
It really
gonna
is like
stab us in the back, kind of stuff. Yeah.
it really is like who called the cops.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Basically, yeah.
Um
I love that they don't like say like their real names or anything like that throughout the
yeah.
like the most of the film or whatever. That's like a really cool thing. So it's like, okay, this guy's the color, this guy's this color. It's really nice. It's a good mind game film, kind of.
Yeah. The acting is definitely the strongest part of the film, I think.
Oh yeah,
Harvey Keitel, who plays Mr. White,
Mr. White, yo.
Mr. White, yo.
Yeah,
He's really good. He's
Yeah,
so good.
really
And it's
good.
weird. I don't think I've seen him in anything else. I think this is the only thing I've ever seen this guy in.
the only thing I know for sure I've seen Harvey Keitel in is the National Treasure series with Nick Cage. He's in both the movies
Okay.
with him. Though that's the only thing I know for sure that I've seen him
Yeah.
from.
It's crazy because he's really good and he feels like a familiar actor.
Yeah.
But I have never seen him in anything
He
else.
feels. Oh, he's also in Pulp Fiction as well. He's really big
okay.
in Pulp Fiction. But yeah, he feels like an experienced actor for sure. I need to watch more of his work and stuff like that. But he was good in Reservoir Dogs for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely a standout. But I wouldn't say he's the best.
No. The best is Tim Roth.
Yes.
Tim Roth demolishes this role. He's bro. So I already liked Tim Roth going into the movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think the role we both know him best from is obviously Abomination.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
in the Marvel movies, but Tim Roth is an incredible actor.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fantastic.
He's great in this movie, man. He's literally the best part of this movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do
is his
too, yeah.
acting.
Yeah.
It's so phenomenal, honestly, that he, especially and at a certain point in the film, he just takes over. He really does just kind of take over the film, and you see the talent and stuff and the
Yeah.
acting as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very talented performance, I think, from him in Reservoir Dogs as well.
Yeah. I also like that he's a Marvel Comics fan.
Yeah.
Which is really ironic. Well, I guess
Yeah.
it's not ironic, but it's like, wow, that's kind of crazy. It's
Kind
kind
of
of
cool,
cool.
yeah.
No, but it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Definitely if you haven't seen it, check it out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But Tim Roth is the best part. Honorable mention is Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi. Also, Madsen. What's his name?
Who plays Blue
Blue.
or Blonde? Blonde.
Yeah, blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know his name either.
Those guys were pretty good as well. Steve Buscemi also. I thought he was pretty good in the movie. In particular.
I don't believe in tipping.
He was the guy in like the group that always had something to say. Like he was like always had like he always had to say his opinion or something. Why I gotta be Mr. Pink?
Yeah, well, yeah. He's the guy in the group that, first of all, always has to voice his opinion, and second, always has the wrong opinion. Like, his opinion, it's always got to be out there, and it's always wrong. It's always the opposite of what everybody else is
I don't
thinking.
believe in tipping.
Yeah, I don't tip. I don't believe in it. Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, but Reservoir Dogs is definitely a great movie.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so for me next, I'll talk about Ad Astra.
Okay.
Ad Astra was a basically Brad Pitt space movie. I feel like I have this like weird like feeling that like every like big male actor has to star in like some like space blockbuster movie or something.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, and this is basically Brad Pitt's kind of pitch at it. And it's pretty good. It's the thing that it kind of tries to do different is it's like more so it's like it tries to be more introspective in terms of like it's not trying to like really concretely give an answer about like some like higher message or like give you like a big like answer to like a higher than life kind of meaning or something like that. It's more introspective and about like Brad Pitt's character and stuff like that, and more so about like human emotions and stuff like that in general.
Right.
So it's supposed to be a little bit more grounded of a space story,
Right.
And in this particular one, he starts on Earth and he's going from like Earth to the moon, and then he goes to Mars, and then he's going to Neptune, right?
Oh, okay.
And he's trying to find his dad, who is like supposedly stationed around Neptune or whatever. His dad is played by Tommy Lee Jones. Um, and it has some really good things. The thing that it mostly is about, at least to me, is it's a lot about loneliness, and it's a very odd concept, but it's about Brad Pitt for the most part is like alone in space,
Right.
kind of, and that's like a big thing that tackles is just like the real loneliness of like of how that would feel of being truly alone in like a ship by yourself in space,
Right.
and how that affects like your mental psyche and stuff, not being around like people for however long and stuff. There are some parts in the movie where it pushes that realism kind of boundary level to the limit, even though it already is a sci-fi. So it's science fiction. It's not supposed to be realistic, but the film itself kind of does operate under a more realistic circumstances.
Yeah.
And it pushes that to the limit with like it has like a rover chase scene on the moon, kind of reminiscent of like a Fast and Furious kind of scene or something.
Okay, cool.
And it has this like space monkey scene where where there's literal space monkeys, and I was like, okay, that's a bit much, but you know, it's okay.
Yeah.
I can get behind it, and had really good cinematography. I know that's like a big thing for a lot of space movies, but not only like the space itself, like and the planets and all that looked really good, but there was really good like sets and production into like the settings and the backgrounds and stuff, and like the lighting of the scenes and stuff like that.
Right.
Really good symmetry and stuff put in. A lot of 2001: A Space Odyssey kind of vibes and reminiscence in a lot of like the buildings and architecture and stuff like that. That was really well done. Yeah, cinematography as a whole was pretty good. Um, Story kind of just covers a lot about um, like I said, a lot of loneliness stuff, a lot of it's very introspective, and that's really what its like niche is that it's like the introspective space movie kind of.
Right.
So it's like not trying to answer some broader question and trying to more so focus on like a person
Right. Yeah.
kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I ended up rating it like an 8 out of 10 or something like that.
Cool.
Pretty good film.
How would you rate it against other like space movies like Interstellar?
I think see Interstellar to me Interstellar is like well, one, I rate Interstellar a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it like in a while, but just from what I remember of it, it's 10 out of 10 to me. And I think that Interstellar does a great job at doing both, answering a big, larger than life question like a lot of sci-fi movies do, and also being fairly introspective.
Yeah.
It does a really good job of balancing both those kind of things. That's something I think that it's a master class at in terms of its story, and in terms of stacking up, I think it's it's a decent amount beneath Interstellar to me. Ad Astra did come out after Interstellar, and there is a decent amount of plot relevance and stuff in Ad Astra that is similar and
Okay.
very influenced by Interstellar and stuff. But I definitely think that it's not neither I mean obviously not Interstellar, but Ad Astra is definitely not like a bad film. Not like I wouldn't say it's like a great film either though. It's like it's a good one. You know,
Yeah.
it's a good watch. Good visuals, very good visually. That's like the main thing, and also the sound. I forgot to say this. The sound design is really well in the movie as well. They use the fact that space is a vacuum and that there's no sound. They use that a lot in the movie by like putting the camera outside of like a ship or something,
Yeah.
or like of outside like the rover or whatever, and using the fact that there's not sound in a moment that there usually would be sound to kind of throw the audience off a little
Right.
bit, throw them for a loop. That was pretty good.
Wow. Well, my next film was mid '90s, which I don't know if you've heard of this movie. It's an A24 film.
Oh, okay.
It's Jonah Hill, his directorial debut,
Oh, okay.
and I believe it's the only movie he's directed so far.
Yeah.
actually, the main actor in the movie is Sonny Suljic, who plays Atreus
Yeah.
in God of War. Incredible. He's so good. Um, this movie to me, before I get into it, the best way I can describe it is Eighth Grade, the other movie by A24 that's about a coming of age story.
Yeah.
It's Eighth Grade for millennials. Basically, is the best way I can put it because it's in the mid 90s. And it's about a little boy, a 13-year-old boy who wants to fit in with a group of skaters who drink and smoke, and they're delinquents basically.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of them don't know what they are going to do with their lives. A few of them do. It's a really good story of kind of trying to find who you are outside of your home because this character's his name is Stevie. He has a broken home life. His brother abuses him. His mom has a new partner every night.
Yeah.
But and so he finds kind of a family in this group of guys that he meets, and some of them are awful. Like one of them is like just a little bit older than him, but like not a good guy.
Yeah.
And then some are just are directionless or quiet, and then the main kind of guy in the group, his name is Ray, is a true like role model. Like he's
Yeah.
like them. He parties and stuff, but he has a goal. He wants to be a professional skateboarder. He's talking to professional skateboarders that hang out around the parks. He like talks to them and shows them how good he is and stuff. He's
Yeah.
got a goal, and so I think it's really it's a really moving film. It's very short, but it's a very moving film about kind of finding who you are, basically.
Yeah.
And it's about like who you it's about who your friends really are.
Yeah.
Like finding out who your friends are. Because even though there's like a guy that treats Stevie the worst, and he thinks he thinks saying thank you is like gay. He's like, don't say thank you, that's gay. And then later in the movie, Stevie goes up to the old guy or to the older guy, and he's like, I don't want to say thank you because I don't want to sound gay. And Ray, the older kid, he's like, that's just common manners. He's like,
Yeah.
that's not, you don't sound gay or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
but it's such an interesting like role model situation, and finding out who your friends are. It's a really really sweet short film, just about growing up basically.
That's nice. That's really cool that not only is it from A24, but it's also Jonah Hill's directorial debut and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'll definitely have to check that out. Yeah. That's dope that A24 giving Jonah Hill, his debut movie and stuff like that. That's really dope. That sounds really nice.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
It's a also like a loss of innocence, like very quickly. The very beginning of the movie, he's a completely innocent kid who is just being beat and mistreated at home.
Yeah.
And he meets this group of kids and immediately is like, kind of goes downhill. He like loses all sense of innocence. Dang. I mean, from every corner of innocence that you can think of, like with experience with girls, alcohol, drugs, all of it.
Yeah.
But it is a very, very good film. The music is really good. There's some really good cinematic shots. Mm-hmm. There's a really long shot of all the kids skateboarding down the middle of a highway, and it's just one shot watching them come towards the camera.
Yeah.
And like the sun is behind them. It's a really good shot.
Nice.
It's also filmed, the aspect ratio is, so I don't know the correct term for it, but the black bars are on the side.
Yeah.
And
kind of like the lighthouse.
Yes, like the lighthouse. And the film is kind of grainy. Like there's a grain on the film, and it looks and feels like it was filmed in the 90s.
That's cool.
And it's
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a movie that feels like a 90s skateboarding video.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah. That's a really dope description.
Yeah. And there's a guy in it it's kind of funny. There's the quiet kid in the group. He's like every time he gets a chance, he's like, yeah, I want to make movies. I like making movies, and
Yeah.
he's the guy that films all their stunts and stuff when he's filming them,
Mm-hmm.
and that all culminates at the end. And it's a nice moment for that character specifically.
Nice.
It's a very good movie. Yeah.
That's dope. I'll have to check that out for sure. What was your final ranking on it?
Oh, on that it was probably an 8.5.
Okay.
I think it was a story like the movie Eighth Grade, but I think Eighth Grade is more relatable and more personal to me.
Yeah.
Because it's about a kid who was in eighth grade when I was.
Yeah.
So I mean, perfect. But that's the only reason. Like eighth grade to me is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
But I think mid 90s is a very close second for that.
Okay. Nice. The next movie I got is The Great Gatsby,
Okay.
directed by the Elvis director Baz Luhrmann,
Yeah.
starring Leonardo DiCaprio and of course Tobey Maguire. It also has Joel Edgerton in it. Very mixed feelings about The Great Gatsby, the film The Great Gatsby.
Mm-hmm.
On the one hand, I think the story is one of a lot of potential. At its heart, it's a romance story.
Oh.
And it's also a bromance story. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of both, you know. And I think that it's shown really well in the film. Both aspects of the bromance and the romance. Both developed really well, and it's kind of like a rich guy giving back to a good rich guy film for a while. Like it's like for the first half of the movie, it's kind of like, oh well, the Mr. Gatsby is literally just like he's like a good rich guy that is like friends with someone poorer than him or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's willing to like give his friends whatever and stuff regardless of the money. Then his character is kind of explained and explored a little more, and it's through Tobey Maguire's character that it's explored, because Tobey Maguire's really the character telling the entire story. But it's well done. That aspect of the movie is well done. The story and the characters, in particular. But I think that the editing and the musical choices
Right.
of basically Baz Luhrmann's job overall, like most of the directing stuff is pretty bad in the film. For one, there is the film is set in like the 1920s, and there's like random Jay-Z songs
Oh no.
that play during the movie.
That's what happens in Elvis.
And I'm literally like, bro, what are we doing right now, bro?
Yeah.
It completely takes me out of the movie. I'm just like, it feels like a music video. So literally at some points of the movie, it legitimately feels like a music video, and it feels tiring. I will say the use of color is pretty well done in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty vibrant, colorful, but that's because it feels like whoever edited the movie was on drugs while they were doing so. It feels like they were literally going insane or something,
Wow.
and they were just adding all the color that they wanted. And I don't mind color in movies at all, especially older movies that usually are portrayed to feel pretty lacking of, lack thereof color and stuff like that. It feels good to have those colorful older movies, older set movies, but it just didn't jive with how colorful they were trying to go, I don't think, in the film, and how upbeat it was with like the rap music and stuff not fitting really at all with the tone of the film.
That is so weird.
Yeah, I didn't really get it. And the thing is that there's good performances in this movie. There's a genuinely good Leonardo DiCaprio performance in this movie, and a genuinely good Tobey Maguire performance in this film. Both of them are really good in the movie. Really great actors outside of the movie, and they bring all that into this movie perfectly. And their relationship is really well done, really well established and stuff. I get that it's like that The Great Gatsby is like a film or a book and stuff, and that it's like, and a pretty old book and well, like critically acclaimed and stuff. But their relationship is done well inside the movie as well. But I think Baz Luhrmann was literally just trying to like sully these really good performances that he somehow got out of these actors.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I ended up rating the movie like a 7.5. If anybody but Baz Luhrmann directed it, it probably could have been like a 9.5 out of 10 or something like that. But it ended up being like a 7.5. I think I'm done with Baz Luhrmann films.
Bro, well, I don't understand Baz Luhrmann and why he feels the need to insert popular current day rap songs into movies about the 20s and the 50s.
Yeah.
Like Elvis. I don't know. Have you seen Elvis?
Yeah, I saw Elvis.
Bro, that movie is full of Cardi B and like Doja Cat, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, I'm done with Baz Luhrmann. I seriously hope that no more like good like stories get wasted on this man's like direction and vision and everything.
Don't give Baz Luhrmann great actors, good stories, good writing, and don't give them these movies anymore.
Yeah, it's horrible. I honestly I don't know what other movies he has because like, Great Gatsby came out in 2013, so I'm sure he has some movies between the Great Gatsby and
I'm
Elvis.
sure, yeah.
But I'm not watching them, so yeah.
I mean,
I hope he doesn't get any more.
yeah. Unless there's one that's like really praised as like, no, this is the only good Baz Luhrmann film.
I could see that, but that's what I thought The Great Gatsby was. I thought that The Great Gatsby was like, okay, this is the Baz Luhrmann film, and it's not. I rated it at 7.5. It's not a horrible film, and it's not even ruined by the stupid rap music that's in it for no reason.
Yeah,
it's not ruined by that because the story is still there and the performances are still there, but there's just too much. A lot too much.
Wow.
In a story that could have been great, like really great, you know? Yeah.
Huh. Well, my final movie that I had was Da 5 Bloods, a Spike Lee joint. That's what, I don't know if you know, but that's what all his movies are called, the Spike Lee joint. I love that. This is the first Spike Lee movie I've seen, and I learned that that's what all his movies are called, and I think that's really cool. This movie was really good. This is a really good movie.
Very good.
It's about the mistreatment of black soldiers in the Vietnam War who were sent to the front lines to fight a war that didn't benefit them at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a genuinely like heartbreaking story.
Yeah.
About 4 war vets that go back to Vietnam to bury their friend who died in Vietnam, but they go back to find his remains, basically.
Yeah.
But not only that, you find out is they found gold that was being sold by the U.S. to Vietnam to keep the war going, basically.
Dang.
And this gold, they find this gold, and they bury it, and they come back for it 30, 40, 50 years later, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they come back to get it, and they basically bury it because with Chadwick Boseman's character, he's like, this gold is ours. We're the ones fighting for the country. We don't get anything in return. We didn't get anything before we even came into this war.
Yeah.
This gold is ours.
Yeah.
And it's a powerful film. Again, Chadwick Boseman is great. He's got a very small role, but he's really good through in every scene he's in. The acting from everyone is really good, but specifically Delroy Lindo, who is one of the older vets. he has PTSD, and by the way, I've never seen PTSD done so well in a film. Like you can see inside his mind the way he acts and the decisions he makes. Incredible performance. I would say the only person in the film that is as good as him is someone I didn't even know was in the movie, Jonathan Majors. I think this is probably one of the first Jonathan Majors films that was really like popular. That was like out there in the open. He's so good in this too. He's so good. He plays the complete opposite of Kang. He's literally like a little like he's a little like wiener. He's like he like it's like I want in on the gold, and if you don't give it to me, I'm gonna call the police. And that's basically his character in the beginning. But he's so good, and probably the best scene in the movie is with Jonathan, and not only it's not only his acting that's so good in this scene. It's so he doesn't say a word at all. It's a scene that is basically like, make one wrong move and you die, basically.
Yeah.
It's the most, I honestly think it's probably the most tense scene I've ever seen. Wow. Spike Lee's ability to make me feel on the edge of my seat, like hoping a situation doesn't go bad, is incredible. Because the scene is not even that long, but it feels like forever. Because you're just praying that these characters make it out of this specific scene alive.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And the movie is long. The movie is very long. It's like 2.5 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's really good. Delroy Lindo has a moment where it's a weird moment where it is very in tone with the film and makes sense, but it almost is. I mean, he literally looks right at the camera. It's literally like a we as African American people were wronged, basically. It's and have been forever. It's literally him looking in the camera, and I mean the camera literally pans up and he's doing the fist up in the air. You know? It's kind of it doesn't at all take you out of the scene, but it is clearly like Spike Lee being like, we gotta speak to people, we gotta tell people. But the movie it's really good. It's very powerful. It is full of more, I think, African American history than probably any other film. It's filled with real footage and photos from Vietnam and just events in general from history. And it's a really good movie. And I know, I'm guessing you haven't seen it, but
no, I haven't.
You definitely need to watch it. It's really good.
Nice. Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else I need to say on it, but it's really good. Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I actually haven't watched any Spike Lee movies, but I'll definitely have to check that out for sure.
The other Spike Lee movie that I want to watch is Black Klansman with I believe John David Washington and Adam Driver. And Topher Grace is in it too.
Oh yeah.
He plays Topher Grace plays David Duke, the old KKK leader.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess my final film that I watched would be the Inglourious Bastards.
Okay.
Another Quentin Tarantino film. I believe that's the third different one between the two of us this episode. Technically fourth if you count the Kill Bill movies as two different things.
Mm-hmm.
But Inglourious Bastards is Tarantino's World War II film. It is about a fictional elite group of Jewish American soldiers called the Bastards. They end up getting the nickname the Inglourious Bastards during the course of the movie. It's about them basically infiltrating, not Nazi Germany, but France, overrun France, and France was overrun with Nazi soldiers
Right.
and such, and it bounces between a couple different storylines between that, and it even has some bigger thing. It's definitely fictional, because it
Yeah.
has some big things in the film like the death of Hitler and stuff like that. Uh, but it's not like to be taken completely serious or whatever,
Right.
in that sense, but it's definitely supposed to be taken serious in terms of like the message that the film gets across, which is really just like Jewish vengeance in general, really. The film, it's really that. It's really just that. It's like it feels like a message of just like true Jewish vengeance. Like it's really just pure in the same way that Nazis would like spread propaganda and like hate about like people that didn't deserve it and groups of people that like did no wrong to them or whatever. This film feels like truly like a Nazi hate film, basically. Like a Nazi hate
Nice.
propaganda film.
Yeah.
And it's literally just like literally just like fuck you guys,
Yeah.
basically. The Nazis, essentially, you know.
Good.
And that's what Brad Pitt's character is the big thing that he does is like he marks the Nazi like people that they capture but they don't kill. He marks them with the swastika on their forehead with his knife, like basically
Right.
scars it into their
Right.
forehead to make sure that they always have that mark to be like ashamed of, in the same way that they always wear that band of the symbol
Mm-hmm.
around their arm in terms of like, to separate themselves, and the same way that they make like Jewish people wear the Star of David around their arm
Yeah.
to like belittle them and stuff like that, to
Mm-hmm.
know to belittle them. He marks them with that same symbol or whatever, the swastika, to basically to let people know like this person was, you know, a very shitty person,
Yeah.
not a good person at all. Very xenophobic, racist. I mean, just go through all the Nazi,
Yeah. All the
all the
different
thing that
traits
Nazis
of a
are,
Nazi. Yeah.
basically. Um, but that's truly what the film is. Is it's literally just, screw the Nazis, which
Yeah.
I think
Good message.
virtually everyone can get behind.
Yeah.
So
And if you can't, you're a
it's a
Nazi.
really good, honestly, a really something I'm like seeing in a lot of the Tarantino films I've been seeing recently is like it's a lot of his films are just some like it's a big fu message to a certain from a certain group of people to a different group of people.
Right.
Like Django Unchained it's literally a big fu from African Americans who were enslaved to the slave owners and everything that
Yeah.
enslaved them. It's a big revenge film.
Right.
It's or vengeance film. Same thing with Inglourious Bastards, the Jewish people to Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in the Bastards is a Jewish person.
Yeah.
Everyone that's killing all these Nazis and stuff, that's what they do. They go around and kill a bunch of Nazis. They're all Jewish people. They're all Jewish people exacting their revenge on people that are doing, wrong and stuff
Right.
like that. Um and I don't know, it was really good, really well done, really well made. It's a Tarantino movie. The dialogue was really well crafted and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He even does a couple different languages here. So usually, he's gotten so good with doing the English dialogue that he switches it up and does some French dialogue and some German dialogue.
Okay.
And it's really well done and stuff, really well crafted. I'd say the standout performance is Christoph Waltz. This is like his career breakout performance as Hans Landa. Um, oh yeah, he's playing like a crazy Nazi guy. I know it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, look, it's a good performance, but it really is a really good performance of him playing like basically the Nazis incarnate. Honestly, like it's literally just he basically symbolizes everything that the Nazis like stand for, kind of.
Right.
And it's a very good portrayal. Brad Pitt is also very good in the film. Those are the two main standouts, really, are the two biggest like stars, I guess, of the film. But
Right.
they really are the two big standouts, and it's a really good message. I mean, it's a message anyone can get behind, but it's a good message nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for sure.
Would you end up? What did you end up rating that one?
9 out of 10, I believe. Either 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Pretty good movies.
Yeah. Well, sounds like we watched quite a few good movies this week.
Yeah.
Besides the first Hunger Games, but
Yeah, we got some good movies in there.
Yeah. Well, I think we've come to the end.
Yeah.
Of our third episode. Our trilogy has been completed. Yes. So next week we'll be starting our reboot, basically.
Yeah. The requel.
The requel, yeah. We're meta like Scream now. No, but we've come to the end of our third episode. Thank you all for listening so much.
Thank you.
If you are a fan of movies, games, and TV shows, make sure to like and subscribe and come back every week to listen to us ramble.
Every week, baby.
Every week. That's a guaranteed promise unless we stop doing it.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Now.
Now. A guarantee is that we'll be here every week unless we aren't for some reason.
Yeah. Unless something terrible happens. Dun, dun, dun.
Visual gag for an audio-based medium. But no, thank you all so much for listening, and we hope to catch you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.
The Cinemaniacs Podcast.